Welcome, everybody, to the Hot Take Gaming Podcast, where sometimes we give you our hot takes about what's going on in the gaming world while we discuss gaming news and just, stuff that we've been playing. So, episode 2, back at it with Heath here, Funky HQ over on YouTube. Check him out.
I'm back.
Yes, he is back. If you missed episode 1, Heath really makes a lot of great content about the Steam Deck, PC gaming, kind of tiptoeing into the emulator stuff, right? So
a little bit. I mean, it's all conceptual at this point, because I need to just make a video.
I feel that in my bones.
Yep.
If you're a creator out there, I'm sure you feel the same exact way about that procrastination.
Sometimes you just get burnt out.
It's hard to balance life and everything else too. Heath, what have you been playing lately? We'll just kick off with that. What kind of games have you been playing?
Oh man, so since I got my Mini Plus and got that all set up, I've been playing Link's Awakening DX.
Love that.
Game Boy Color. So that's been really cool. Beat the first couple dungeons. Nostalgia is hitting hard.
Yeah.
It's a good time. I had a really good time with it. And then because it's been a thing because of the show and everything, and because the next gen update came out for Fallout 4. I don't know why they even call it a next gen update at this point. It's like we're like on the tail end of this quote unquote next gen, and Bethesda's like, here's the next gen update. Here's a bunch of new content for Fallout 4. Ugh. Like why? Okay. Anyway, whatever. Naming convention aside, played through the beginning of Fallout 4. Great game.
Yeah, and you're
far.
You're liking it on the Steam Deck so
far.
far.
Oh my gosh, I was shocked at how good it is on the Steam Deck.
Yeah.
I guess I shouldn't be that surprised, but I was like, I don't know. I just want, and I've noticed that the version or whatever the version that you download for the Steam Deck, it doesn't let you adjust settings. Like I don't know if that's bizarre. I don't know if that's necessarily exclusive to I mean I haven't played it on my PC in a long time.
Right.
I loaded up my old save. My character's name was Nigel. I don't know why. But then I realized why I named him Nigel, because when I was making my new character, I was like, I don't know what to name my character, because I don't want to name him Funky or what. I just want him to have a normal name. I don't remember what I named my character.
I always do random ones too.
That's what. But I was like, it was so funny. I loaded it up and I was like, Nigel. What a great name.
Who is Nigel? Where has he been?
Nigel is the stock character with maybe some minor tweaks.
Okay, so I don't feel as guilty about myself now because I character creation in Fallout games, I never really mess with. I can't lie. Because especially 3 in New Vegas, you start editing your character and you're like, wow, I look like dog shit. And you
put the eyes way up, and you give yourself a big old nose and you're like, yeah, that's it.
And I don't know about you, but I play in first person, so it's I don't really care, honestly.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
I just make up stories in my own head about my character, and then I was like, I don't care what he looks like.
My partner gives me so much shit for being just using the stock character, and I'm like, it's not about what I look like. It's about what. I mean, if I'm going to spend my whole time in power armor anyway, you're not even going to see my face.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, I'll give you a hot take right now.
Hot take.
I'll give you a hot take right now. And I don't know if you'll feel this way, so we'll see. But the only way to play Mass Effect is with default Shepard. The only way. Do not make a character. It's about Commander Shepard. It's not about whoever the hell you're making. It's not about the Nigels of the world, right? Our created characters. It is about Commander goddamn Shepard. Yeah. So that's a game where, I absolutely am not making a character.
That is a hot take. People are going to come after you for that.
Oh, they absolutely are. Because I kind of saw a thread on Twitter one time that was talking about that, and yeah, people who make characters are dead serious about it.
They will fight you.
Yes, they will absolutely take me out. But that kind of leads into what I've been playing too. So I restarted New Vegas on the Steam Deck.
How is it?
And it's amazing. Obviously, I didn't question about will this run or whatever, because it's an old game.
It's so old at this point. Yeah,
exactly. And I played, I've probably got in a good 10 to 15 hours, which doesn't sound like a lot to a lot of you out there, but I have a newborn, so it's any gaming time.
It's a good way to utilize the Steam Deck too.
Yes. Oh yeah, absolutely. Honestly, anything handheld gaming is been my thing lately. And I typically stream games because I use the Logitech G Cloud for the longest time, which is a stream only device, right? Yeah. And I'd use play Game Pass games on that. And now I had the PlayStation Portal, and I've been streaming games on that. But it's so nice to not have to worry about internet connection and just use the Steam Deck and play games natively. So again, a lot of that's not like performance based. It's off your internet, but I don't have the greatest internet, so
Right.
like it works. Trust me, it gets the job done. But I just love like popping in New Vegas. You know, you can hit the sleep button, just quick resume it, all that kind of stuff, and you don't have to worry about it. So
Yeah.
but yeah, New Vegas, a lot of nostalgia in there, but also like obviously the graphics in old Fallout don't age well.
That's the thing though. Like if you're playing on a a little screen like that's on the Steam Deck, it's not like
It's not
that
as bad.
big of a deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like the games are still so good. Like it's not one of those like rose tinted glasses kind of a game. You know what I mean? Like it's definitely like this looks old, but it's still amazing. Feels amazing. The story's great. The quests are great. All of that.
Yeah, the keyboard warriors on the internet are just in their decision to fight for New Vegas's whatever.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And
Their
also,
honor.
so many people came at me in the comments. By the way, of our chat. We clipped this chat right. A lot of this podcast goes like into shorts and TikTok and all that stuff. So a huge, probably the most reactionary comment, which I did not expect to take this at all, was saying Obsidian should make another Fallout game while Bethesda makes Elder Scrolls 6. And oh wow.
People thought that was a hot take, huh?
Yes, people thought. I did not think that was a hot take at all. I thought that was a pretty lukewarm, safe take.
Yeah.
But a lot of people from Obsidian left, which I mean, I knew that. You know what I mean? A lot of people left, but I honestly am not a huge fan of using that as an excuse. Like they've made pretty good games. Like they get a lot of crap for Grounded because it's not like the typical.
Oh,
Obsidian
they made Grounded.
Game. Yeah, they did do Grounded,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So Grounded, that's where everybody kind of betrayed them. They were like, well, what are they even doing? What are they making? And Grounded, I haven't played it myself. It's just not my kind of game, but people enjoy it. Like,
why would people be upset about that?
I don't know.
I mean, maybe it's just not their cup of tea, maybe. I don't know.
And I don't know if you played this one. I've only played a little bit of it, but Outer Worlds, have you?
Oh, Outer Worlds or Outer Wilds?
Outer Worlds. Yes,
It's
Outer
like
Worlds.
a Fallout-esque game.
Yes. It's like kind of open world, but kind of not.
Beat it. It was one of the last games that I've actually beat.
And so were you a fan of this game?
Loved it. It was good. Okay, to be fair, it kind of does the Fallout thing, and it kind of emulates that in some way.
Yeah.
But it's not New Vegas. It's not like a deep world. It's got a lot going on in it. But I feel like it kind of like, I don't know. It's not as detailed, maybe. But it is a good experience. I really enjoyed the game when I played it.
I played about 15 to 20 hours of it, and there was just a lot going on at that point in my life, so I just didn't finish it. It's not like I didn't like it and didn't finish it. Yeah. But I agree with you. It's like it's like a less like in-depth version of like the Fallout games.
And you get a lot of cool little things here and there where you go there and you're like, oops, I killed this person on accident. Oopsie. They're the main character or whatever. Like it kind of gives you that little bit of choice, but I thought it was a good game.
Yeah, and I enjoyed it in my time. So I was shocked, and I think nobody like called that game out by name, but I think maybe that like not being super in depth turned people off from Obsidian too.
I feel like they were just trying to do their own thing.
Yeah.
But I loved how like quirky that game was, and a lot of like the Spacer's Choice stuff, and like I can't remember exactly everything, but it was a good game.
And there's definitely like you can see the story elements of like Fallout games and like side quests. You could see exactly
some of the DNA kind of seeped in there.
Yeah, 100%. So that's why I was a fan of it. But yeah, no. People are not a fan of Obsidian anymore, which they're making that a new Avowed
That's interesting.
Game. Yeah, and they're making a new RPG, Avowed. I don't know if you looked into that at all.
No, I haven't seen that.
That was like one of the ones that they showed off on the Series X like launch event. But it is a like medieval. Think of Outer Worlds, but they're making a medieval version of it essentially, like with mages and you know what I mean, like a fantasy, I guess. I mean
that's
say.
Cool.
Yeah, so I think it looks sweet. So I am excited to see how that does, and then if people's minds change about that, you know what I mean? So
maybe we'll have a hot take about that.
Yeah, and like they're like, oh, the story wouldn't be nearly as good because XYZ person who had a huge hand in doing the writing is gone. But it's like, okay, but the writing in Fallout 4, let's be real, was not great at all. Nobody really plays a Fallout game for like the main quest line. One, it's usually the side stuff, you know, and like the characters you meet. That's usually the really great part. So it's like Fallout 4, we already kind of got a watered down version of like what, you know what I mean, a really good Fallout story is. And people still really enjoy Fallout 4. I enjoyed Fallout 4. So it's like I really don't think if we give them a spin-off game while they're making Fallout 5 and Elder Scrolls 6, I really don't think that's a huge deal. So.
But there are people that will disagree with you.
Yes. Oh yeah, absolutely. And that leads right into the next thing. So Fallout 4, I don't know how much you know about this saga. I don't know a whole ton, so feel free to chirp off in the comments if I'm wildly wrong on this. But so there's a Fallout 4 London mod that's been being made for what sounds like years from the quick research I've done on it before this. And I saw this. I ended up seeing this on Twitter, like very briefly before we ended up making this episode. So I don't know a ton about it, but this huge Fallout in London mod, right? It's almost like a whole new game, just made by modders. With the next gen update of Fallout 4, that new mod will not work on the game, and I don't know what like the reasoning is, or what you would definitely have a better knowledge of that.
It kind of sounds like the mod itself, that they've changed so much in the game, it will make it very difficult for them to implement this mod, and they would have to do a lot of changing of things to actually get it to work.
And it was close to launch, from my understanding.
It was close to launch, maybe, but then now it's like they're like, that sounds like a lot of work, which stinks because like, I think it's great that Bethesda has like really embraced the modding community over the course of a long time. You know, like I'm really happy that they do that, but like it just I don't know. It kind of stinks. It kind of stinks that like they've worked so long on this mod, and then they're just gonna be like, the update screwed it up. See ya.
Yeah,
I'm out.
And this is where it gets kind of like controversial, I guess I'd say, is those that modding team or that development team of Fallout London went on the record saying we wish Bethesda would have talked to us about what was coming in this update, or how they could prepare in the future for what's coming out. But but in a lot of people's whole thing, I don't really know where I fall on this, because I could absolutely see where that's their reaction was. We wish we knew this was coming to this date, like way further out. We wish we knew like stuff was being implemented. I don't really think Bethesda owes them that.
No, I mean,
but I could see where they're very frustrated from.
Right, and for them to be like, well, they should have talked to us first. It's like, well, you're not a first-party developer you're not even a developer for it, but you're just making a mod.
Absolutely.
And I get why they would be upset about it, but at the same time, it's like that they don't work for Bethesda.
Yeah.
So
I could see both sides of the coin. You know what I mean? Like, it would suck.
It would have been sweet. It would have been sweet for them to, reach out to the person that's making, or the people that are making this really, really cool mod for this game that was, is okay, is good. Fallout 4 is good, but it's like they don't own anything.
Yeah, and especially like next gen upgrades or whatever, like we were kind of talking about, right? A lot of times it's not like a DLC expansion where like sometimes months ahead, that, hey, this release date's what we're hitting, this is what's coming out. Those next gen updates usually get like shadow drop. There's usually no like press release or PR going out about these, unless it's something like this where there's a lot of steam because of the show behind it. And it gives people something to look forward to. Next week we're gonna have this update or whatever. Typically, in no world would any like first party developer go tell a modding team, hey, this is what, especially other than just a release date, but like, here's what you should start doing or whatever. I don't think anybody would really give modders that grace,
Yeah, well, it's very interesting how they did that too. The like Fallout show, we're gonna do a next gen update, and they've known for a while that they're gonna do this next gen update for Fallout 4. I'm assuming because it's got extra content, new armor, whatever. Like, why wouldn't you like? I don't know. Why wouldn't you try to like we talked about in the last podcast, like. Xbox is doing this stuff where they're not even hyping up their own games as much as they should be. And like, I think the amount of hype that kind of came from the show, I think it deserved even more. I feel like, like what we talked about, like maybe doing some more, maybe there's a next gen update for Fallout 3, which would be silly. I mean, it's been out for as long as it has been, but it's like, why don't we just bring those games? Because you're not making another one right now. Wink, right? You're not making another one right now. Like, bring all those older games that all those people really, really enjoy. Maybe just give them the next gen treatment, I guess. But we get Fallout 4. Fallout 4 is good. And like I said, I mean, I didn't experience the performance of Fallout 4 before the update because I didn't play it on the Steam Deck before the update. I kind of downloaded it intending to just check it out after the update came out, and it runs so well on the LCD deck. At least it runs really well for me, and it's cool. I was like, wow, this is smooth. Like this feels good. What they did to make this deck verified and everything, it feels great.
Yeah, which is I think that's great that you can run this on the deck because the Fallout's like a perfect game to do that.
It
you know
is.
what I mean?
It
Because
is.
it's not like super. I mean, there's a lot in the world.
Yeah.
But like, it's never been like the most graphically demanding game. You know, and there's always the jank sandwich we talked about in there. Like,
and it's not the best shooter either. So
No,
it's like
exactly.
so for it to just be, a game that I still want to play on controller, like we talked about in the last podcast, like, you kind of have your mood.
Yeah.
You're like, I want to play this game on mouse and keyboard because this is how I feel good playing this game, and I want to play this game with a D-pad or joysticks or whatever. And Fallout's one of those like games where I just feel comfortable playing with a controller.
Right.
But it's still you're still shooting things.
Yeah.
But you've got like VATS and it just feels okay.
Yeah. I was laughing because I was using the touchpad a little bit.
Yeah.
For shits and giggles.
Yeah.
To aim on New Vegas, and I was like,
It's cool that works.
It is pretty sweet. I was laughing though because I was like, I've always played on the Xbox 360s where I played 3 New Vegas.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember if I played PlayStation or Xbox or Fallout 4. I think it was Xbox. But I just had never tried like a mouse and keyboard kind of a setup for Fallout. So just using the touchpad to aim, I was like, oh, this feels extra jank. Like, not on like the Steam Deck's fault, but like the game. I'm like, I can't imagine like playing this janky shooter with the mouse and keyboard. But
yeah, I mean, it works. It works.
So I mean, it does kind of suck. This Fallout 4 London mod isn't going to come out because as far as we know, might not come out or be way delayed.
Right.
That does kind of suck. But I don't know. I don't think Bethesda did anything wrong.
I don't think they're trying to be malicious.
No, in any way, shape, or form.
In their like the way that they've treated modders in the past, like I don't feel like they're trying to be crappy to them.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like a timing thing.
I think as a member of the gaming community, let's say that, as a member of the gaming community, I think there's a lot of people that try, and I mean this goes for every avenue of life, but there's a lot of people that try to make a problem where there really isn't a huge problem.
You don't say.
Yes. I know this is groundbreaking developing stuff. But the fact that, I mean, just everything we stated, I don't know. Like, to make it seem like Bethesda has done something wrong here, to me, is ludicrous.
Nah.
I think that is crazy. And people are going to come at me in the comments for this already.
Do it.
I can feel it. But speaking of gamers making a problem, when there's really not a problem.
These segues.
I have on here Stellar Blade. I have that on our list.
Oh, baby.
And I didn't add a lot of context. A lot of waifus in this sci-fi universe. Did you ever play any of the Nier games, like Nier Automata?
I never played. No.
So, I mean, I started Stellar Blade last night.
Because you got a PS5.
Yep. Yeah, I forgot it's an exclusive, too. Yeah. It's an exclusive. So I started Stellar Blade. It's great. So far, I absolutely love it. It definitely feels like a Nier Automata game, not just because... there's waifus running around in a post-apocalyptic
I heard there's a
world.
bunny suit. Yeah.
So I was reading this thing again, gaming Twitter. This is where I get a lot of this stuff because you see all walks of life chirping into the conversations here. Again, people making problems. So Stellar Blade. I don't really know how much I want to go. Usually I don't censor myself at all in here. But we'll just say the typical, waifu setup, right? I mean, it's a very provocative outfit the main character wears.
Booties.
Yes, yeah, absolutely, yeah. And there's different outfits where you can make them look even better.
Wow.
Even better. And it's in 4K. It looks like she's actually on your screen. So anyways, I'm getting off topic here.
Yep.
So there's this huge appeal, right? And a lot of people have said this is what gaming should be, like slaying demons, there's boobies, you're slaying demons. And they're like, this is like non-woke gaming. This is what we mean about non-woke gaming. And now a lot of those outfits that we've seen like in teasers and stuff, or
did they change them? Did they change them?
Yeah, they did. Or if you play the unpatched disc, I saw a lot of images of like unpatched, like this is what they look like. There's a lot of outfits that are less revealing, and a lot of people are saying Sony must have cracked down. You know what I mean? Like, this is a Sony exclusive. We don't want all that cleavage out here.
Come on.
Get it under wraps. That's kind of what a lot of people are hinting at, and some people are just straight up accusing Sony of doing. So, but what's crazy is I found this interview, and I wish I could remember his name. But one of the main people that worked on Stellar Blade basically got asked that at some convention, and he was like, "Oh no, that's like definitely not like." I didn't get censored. Is basically what his answer was. As he just felt like these designs looked cooler. You know what I mean? And
Right.
he didn't go into the full reasoning. I'm sure there's a whole thought process there.
Sure.
But he basically just said, I didn't want him that way, like, so that I didn't get censored. And people are refusing to believe that. Like, absolutely refusing to believe that. Like, this must be Sony. Like, he sold out. They cut him a check or whatever.
Come on.
So it's interesting to, like, see people make problems, and usually that doesn't matter, you know what I mean? Like, somebody's always going to be upset about something.
Yep.
But we're in a day and age where, like, almost everybody, especially in gaming, everybody has an opinion, one, but two, but everybody is basically like a mini journalist nowadays. Like,
oh yeah,
they get on Twitter, especially, like I was saying, this is where I got all this. This is the source where I got all this. They have all these images of, like, the unpatched game and then the patched game, and they're different. So, you know, all of a sudden that person's getting hundreds of thousands of views on this tweet that, you know, really doesn't know any idea of what they're talking about quite yet.
Right.
Like, you know, with this guy's interview, him already saying, like, nope, he already, you know, tackled it before the game even came out.
right.
And it's just crazy to think that everybody has that power now. And that's just, you know, again, not even just gaming, just the society we're in. But it's crazy to watch, you know, the industry, like, possibly change things up, or, you know, their approach to things. Like, definitely don't even put it out there like Stardom, you know what I mean? Kind of a less provocative outfit or whatever. Right. So it's just crazy that kind of stuff boils out of control. And
well, the people that are for this this new wave of sexiness are the people that were complaining about Aloy looking like not as feminine.
Yeah, you're right. No, you're absolutely right.
It's sad. Like, we can't just have female protagonists just be themselves. I don't know. It's kind of just goofy to me. I'm of the opinion, at least this was my opinion when I was playing PUBG for a long time. I changed my character to be a female because do I want to stare at a man's back, or do I want to stare at a woman's back?
I love that.
It has nothing. It's whatever. It's whatever. It's not even about being, like, weird and gross.
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't know, it's fucking whatever. It's just,
and, like, people just play games differently. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Like, sometimes people in PUBG, they're like, I want to be relatable to this character, so I'm going to make the person look like me, right?
Right. Well,
and other people just, you know, completely make, it's like Dungeons and Dragons almost. Like, you just make a whole other character. Because if you make them relatable, that takes away from, like, the escaping experience that video games can bring and stuff.
Well, when I played Final Fantasy 14, I made my character, I was a dragon dude. Like, I just wanted to look like a cool dragon dude. And I know that, like, that's the thing too, is in a lot of games, a lot of the cool, like, stuff that is, like, that looks really, really cool on characters, like outfits, whatever. It's always usually the girls get all the cool stuff, just like real life.
Yeah,
just like,
yeah, just like
girls get all the cool clothes. All right, I just want.
We don't get to wear all the fun stuff.
Yeah, right. It's like, I don't know, whatever. Anyway,
so it's. I mean, I didn't even really have a crazy opinion about that point.
Me
I just
either.
wanted to raise that point because, like,
it's interesting how people will just go off on this.
It
stuff.
is that. Yeah, that's almost my point of it. Is, like, if they kept the outfits really provocative, I wouldn't have cared. Still think the game's amazing. You know, it adds to the experience. No, I'm just kidding.
It just adds.
It's, you know, that's fine. But the fact that they toned it down a little, and let me tell you, the game it's toned down, but it's
still
not. Yeah, it's still. You know what I mean? It's still risque,
still there.
as the kids say.
It's still there.
You know, it's still there. So the fact that people just, like, it I guess gets people so angry that they need to go on the internet and, like, make up their own version of history and stuff is crazy to me. But I mean, I'm sure we've dealt with that on all kinds of different gaming levels, like Metroid, you know, all the times. Like, we want more, like, Zero Suit Samus, all that kind of stuff. It's a common topic, so I see how it happens, but
this is goofy.
I mean, like, I would say it's more risky of a game than Nier Automata. Nobody was like, they're censoring Nier Automata. Like,
all I know, having been a person that has not played that game, and I've just seen people cosplay it, like, come on. Come on.
So it's like, if it's more provocative than that, then it's like, I don't know what you guys are complaining for. It's not like it was, like, a very provocative game and then they put her, like, in a nun outfit or something.
That would have been hilarious. That would have been so funny.
It would have. The next thing I wanted to jump to.
Yeah.
And this is, and I will especially get your take on this because you've played the game and been a member of this community, is the Escape from Tarkov kind of disaster.
Yeah.
That's going on right now, and I will fully admit I've never played Tarkov, so
that's good.
It's kind of impressive.
Stay
I feel
away.
Because most people have. So wait, are you not a fan of it anymore?
Not anymore. No, I really enjoyed it back in the day, back maybe a year or two ago. back before the Wiggle video came out. If you've seen the Wiggle video,
I haven't seen the Wiggle video.
You need to. That's something. Check that out
I
first.
will.
You need to. That'll give you a lot of context into why I feel the way that I do about Tarkov these days. Just too much hacking.
Yeah.
Too much going on. But before I loved Tarkov in a way. I had a good relationship with Tarkov for a while, even though it was very frustrating to me. I played with my good buddy Adam quite a bit, and I don't know. I'm out of it. I'm totally out of it now. And to see some of the stuff that's happening right now with what is it? Like they've got, for as many people have paid for the $150 version of their game, they don't have enough server space for their new mode or whatever the new game mode is.
Thing. Okay, so here's where all the drama comes in.
That's wild.
And honestly, I think this got me riled up. And again, I've never played Tarkov. Spent zero money on the game.
Yeah.
We'll never spend money on the game. You know what I mean?
Don't.
And it still riles me up because I feel like this is a new, this is something that could happen to any game.
Yeah.
Because this is an indie title, is it not? I mean, this is an indie game, technically.
I guess.
Yeah, I mean, there's
Battlestate
no,
Games hasn't made it any other games, and I don't think they have.
And there's no, their setup, there's no, board of directors they're answering to do all this. And I haven't even explained what they've done, but we'll get into this. Basically, what I'm saying is there's no corporate excuse, like how EA and Ubisoft, they have bad practices a lot.
Right.
And they can blame we need profit, right? Like we have a board of trustees that we have to answer to, that kind of a setup. This is not that kind of a setup. So I think it really takes people kind of aback when they see this kind of greedy, and I'm not even going to say microtransactions because it's not even really microtransactions. It's just buying the game.
Yep.
So there's a $150 edition that Heath just mentioned. That's the founder's edition of the game, right? So $150, and again, you're kind of labeled like a founder because you're helping fund the game as it's being developed because they don't even have 1.0 yet, right?
No.
So yeah, still kind of an early access game. So that's kind of cool. You get all this extra stuff. I'm sure you got extra stuff.
You do.
Right?
Every wipe you get a bunch of. I have it. I have the $150 version.
I love
it because it gives. I'm a founder. Because when we talked about Fallout 76, and you know how if you pay for this version or you pay for Fallout first or whatever, you get more space in your. The expensive version of Tarkov, it gives you a big ass inventory, and you can have a bunch of stuff. And having the base version of the game is very limiting in that you can only have a certain amount of stuff. And then that's very tempting for you to be like, well, I'll spend a little extra money.
Yeah,
I'll spend a little extra money so that I can get some more inventory space, so I can hold more guns and more stuff. But anyway, I have the big donger version of the game. I bought it on sale. They have sales every year.
So at least you got it at a discount.
I got it at a discount. I would not have paid the big donger price. I paid a less big donger price.
Yeah.
To be able to have more inventory space in a game that I don't even want to have
I love that.
It's one of those games now where if somebody asked me to play, I'd be like, sure. And I'd play a little bit and then I'd be like, I'd be done for the year.
Kind of like a once in a blue moon.
And that's not $150 worth of value.
No.
Not
and
at all.
I get if you really like the game, you're really passionate about what it is, especially because there's not a lot of escape kind of shooters or whatever you call them that are I feel like they almost have a monopoly in that because most of them, there's a lot of them have been out, right, but none of them stick. And Tarkov has stuck.
Yeah, what was the one that shut down within the last year? I don't remember what it was called, but the Cycle. I think it was called the Cycle.
That sounds familiar.
It was a similar kind of game, and I was like, I really want to play this. And I kept trying to get people to play with me, and then I'd forget about it, and then and then when I was finally like, we should play this, they were like, oh, the game's shutting down. I was like, what? I didn't even get to play it.
And there's so many, especially shooters, there's so many shooters like that. I mean, not like the Tarkov build, but just in general, there's so many shooters that, pop off for a month, and then you never see them ever again.
That's sad.
I mean, think about it, Splitgate.
Oh my God, Splitgate.
What is that new one it's a couple months old at this point, but the finals or whatever?
The finals, yeah. It's supposed to be kind of like the new esports, kind of.
So you got stuff like the finals. You got stuff
I
like
tried
Splitgate.
to play that when it first, I think it was the Game Awards.
Yeah.
Right after the Game Awards. Total shit show. Trying to get into that game when they were and it's available now.
Yeah,
and
just
and
launch
you
it.
and you tried to get in, like you couldn't play the game. It was like
Yeah.
the server lag was terrible.
Which is crazy. And there's even some good ones. Like I thought Splitgate was fun. I really
Splitgate
enjoyed.
was fun
I enjoyed
because we didn't
Splitgate.
have a new Halo.
Yeah.
And that's what people were playing because it was like that's kind of how it wasn't marketed as that, but it was like people were like, "This is Halo."
It filled the void.
Yeah, well, and it did
filled the
something
void.
cool too.
Yeah, a new take on it. It wasn't just like a copy paste.
I'm sad. Is it gone now?
I think it's still. I think you can. Still
I think
play
it's
it.
still out there.
I think it's just not popping anymore.
Right, because infinite multiplayer is good.
Yeah, play.
It's
Infinite.
good.
Yeah, play Infinite Multiplayer.
It's fine. It's
Play-
pretty good.
Play the multiplayer.
You play it.
Love it. So I got steered off. So, but the $150 edition, Heath has invested in it personally. He's a founder. So
Unfortunately.
let's say Heath is still big into Tarkov. Let's say, he plays it a ton.
Yep.
I was just reading in this article that in the fine print of that $150, not even the fine print, in the description of that $150
Just
purchase.
right out there and wherever for
Which-
everybody to see.
Yes, and it's crazy. $150 to play a game. It's not like you're getting like physical goodies or like a statue or any of that. So $150. They say in there that gives you access to all upcoming DLC, new changes, and I can't remember. I'm forgetting the exact terminology because that'll come back into play. Right. But basically, they say you will get all DLC, future DLC with this edition of the game because it's $150.
Yep.
And that, if I'm remembering right, is called the Edge of Darkness.
Correct.
The EOD, yeah, Edge of
Yes.
Darkness edition.
You got
well,
it.
now, and the naming of this too, this is diabolical. They launched a new $250 edition, $250 to play Tarkov, called the Unheard Edition. It's unheard because it's unfucking heard of that a game is $250 to play.
So much.
$250 to play. But here's the real kicker. It comes with a multiplayer. I believe you can do it offline too. A PvE mode,
Okay.
so you can play with your friends PvE against computers, right? And the only way to play that mode is to buy the $250 version. EOD people do not get this version.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No, they do not get this game mode.
This is the first time I'm hearing about this.
Yes, so you have to buy, and there is an upgrade. I will say that. So you have to pay $100 to get this new game mode. But so in Heath's position, he could pay $100 to get the new unheard of or unheard edition.
Stop.
Yes, and that's wild to get that game mode. Well, enough people got upset about it, and
Rightfully so.
yeah, started coming
I'm pissed.
Do you remember? Wait, who did you say developed the game?
Battle State Games.
So Battle State Games. So a bunch of people are coming at Battle State Games, but hear this out. This is where it gets crazy too. Is they doubled down on that take.
Shut
So what they did after a couple days of people getting really upset about it is they said we will give EOD people 6 months of the game mode.
Stop it.
So you get 6 months to play this new game mode without doing the upcharge, but then from there you can't play it anymore. So you basically get
Get a little taste and then give us some more money.
you get the Unheard edition. Or you get the Unheard edition basically for 6 months, and then they kick you out of it. So if you enjoy that game mode, you have to pay $100 to get it back.
Stupid.
And again. Oh, and then here's where it gets crazy about the terminology.
No, it can't get worse.
And it gets worse. It definitely
Stop.
gets worse. Their answers to it, and I wish I had them pulled up. This was super last minute for the show, but they doubled down on it. And one of the main things they said, because people were obviously saying look at this print. It says you get all DLC, all maps, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Their thing was, well, this is a new feature, not a DLC.
Correct.
This is a new feature.
Yeah, this should be part of the game.
So basically, they just changed the terminology of well, no, we said DLC expansions, maps. This isn't a DLC expansion or map. This is a feature. So that was their response when they announced the you get it for 6 months and then you're kicked out of here thing. So that is crazy.
Egregious.
And
Just too much.
It just blows my mind because think about it. What if I've never bought Tarkov, and what if this PvE version comes out and I'm like, hey, that looks pretty sweet. I would like to play that.
$200, please.
$250. $250 for a digital game. It's not like you're getting some crazy back in the day. You get cool collector's editions and stuff.
Yeah, you get cool shit. You
Yeah.
get Master Chief's helmet. You
Yeah.
get what is a cool? You get
Statues.
a Pip Boy. Whatever.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the Pit Boy was the Fallout. So see, that just goes to show, and that was probably $200 to $300.
Yeah.
So $250 just to get a game mode digitally is crazy.
No, thank you.
So as I tell you that, what are
What are
your
my
thoughts?
thoughts? One, fuck you, Battle State Games. That's stupid.
Yeah, that is very stupid.
Other than that, like, I'm just going to continue to not play your game. That's it.
And what a way to make the game not accessible. I mean, but
It's at this point, they're like trying to make it not accessible.
yes, I mean, like, I seriously don't know what they're thinking. But here's what I want to ask you, though, because was this game originally like a Kickstarter, do you know?
I don't think so.
So
They're from Russia. They're a
Okay.
Russian developer.
because they
so,
had because it just made me wonder with like the Founders Edition. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like so that money. When I think Founders Edition, I think the money you are using to purchase the game is going towards like completing and maintaining the game. Since it wasn't in 1.0, it was like early access or whatever, right? So that's where my mind goes. So my mind almost immediately, as I was hearing all this, my mind was going to they're having money issues.
Oh yeah, because you want to know what happened? The Wiggle video came out and exposed a lot of the issues with their anti-cheat.
So the Wiggle video is basically exposing what's going on.
So to break down the Wiggle video for those people that haven't seen that video, and if you haven't, it's by a creator named Goat, I think. Really good video describing and showing basically a person that loves Tarkov buying the cheats and literally using the cheats to show you how bad the cheating situation is within the game. So they buy the cheats and they figure out the reason why it's called the Wiggle video is because the creator finds out that cheaters have this way of communicating over long distances on maps. He will know that somebody is looking at him through a wall, but he can, because he has the cheat, he can see them. They can see each other through walls, and they'll wiggle back and forth. They'll do like the peek, like like the little peek that you do around a corner. They do that back and forth.
That Rainbow Six move. Where
So that is them communicating and telling each other, I know you have a cheat, you know I have a cheat.
That is crazy.
Like that's and it happened in almost every match that he played.
That is insane.
So that's why I hate Tarkov.
And let me ask you this about the Wiggle video: was it super easy for him to get these cheats?
Yes,
like the average.
You just
Joe
pay
could probably
for
do
them. You just go find somebody that makes the cheat, and you pay for it. You go into their Discord and you pay for it and whatever, and you just get it. And their anti-cheat doesn't do anything about this stuff.
That is insane. So somebody like me, who's not like a huge PC guy, could easily just purchase that cheat and implement it very easily. Wow, that is crazy.
Yes.
Especially like Tarkov is a popular game.
It is, and it was.
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, after the Wiggle video came out and exposed how much garbage has been going on with them not cracking down on any of this stuff,
right.
It's been. I don't hear about people talking about it as much.
I don't either. Now that you say that,
which is the thing. Like, so I have a buddy that was really, really into Tarkov, and a group of people that were really into Tarkov, and they play Tarkov all the time. They've switched over to Hunt now,
which is cool.
because Hunt is great. And
Hunt is a great game.
It's actually a good game. I'm not saying Tarkov is a bad game. I'm saying that the way that they deal with their issues is not good.
Right.
And it sucks that I've paid however much money to have the big donger, the former big donger version of the game, so that I can enjoy a bigger inventory, whatever.
I love that term, big donger.
The big donger version of the game. I paid the big bucks on sale, and for the game to just kind of like dilapidate it on itself. They just don't even care enough to respect their players enough.
In Hunt, I feel like is a prime example of how you do a game like that, right? Because Hunt's pretty old, right?
I mean, it's been around for years.
Yeah, so
years.
they've maintained it. They've kept up with it. They've obviously kept up with like new anti-cheat stuff. So
they just know what they're doing.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying that Battlestate doesn't know what they're doing, because I feel like they know what they're doing, but they're not respecting their player base.
They're almost being lazy.
That could be it, or they're just, I don't know. I don't
or
really know.
Again, my mind still goes to like there's a big money issue.
Sure.
You know what I mean? My mind goes to like why, because they were pretty beloved. I feel like
they were for a long time until
until all this.
Until
the Wiggle video.
The Wiggle video came out. Like I said, you got to watch it, man.
So and that's crazy to me because I guess I never, because I'm not in that community, I never knew there was like already a big exiting of people because of the
there
Wiggle
was
video.
sort of a big exodus of a lot of players because of all the stuff that was happening, and it was like people kind of had an idea that all of this was happening. People kind of had like the thought, like, because like, man, I feel like that guy was cheating.
Yeah.
So often.
And I was going to say, if it happens every game.
Right. And if it happens every game, maybe you didn't necessarily know that somebody was cheating in that game because they're being smart about how they're cheating.
Right.
But it happens so often, and you're like, man, that guy felt like I was cheating.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how he knew I was there. I didn't move for like 3 minutes. You know, like, how do you know that? Because I can see you through a wall.
Right.
And once it kind of got out there that this was all happening, like, people were just like, I'm out, man.
Because why if you were like an honest player, why would you continue to play?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And what I don't get, like, to those people that use that kind of stuff, what is even the enjoyment?
Same people that use, cheats for Call of Duty and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just because they are bad at the game and they want to be good at the game.
Yeah, it's just crazy to me, though, because it's like, yes, like, you won the game. I guess maybe for, like, clout, like, other people thinking they're good. But it's like, dude, like...
It totally sucks the enjoyment. And that's another reason why I've stopped playing Call of Duty. One, because of the microtransactions in Call of Duty. Honestly, I played Warzone 2 days ago. No, I played it yesterday. And I was just having a bad time because it's Saturday. We're filming on Sunday. It was Saturday, and my friends are trying to go for the nuke because there's you can do the nuke thing.
Yeah.
They're trying for the nuke, and they're just playing a lot. And I was in their lobbies, and not saying that my lobbies would be any better, but I'm saying it was just sweaty. It was really bad, and it was like I was just getting pooped on, and I was like, I don't want to do this. I'm gonna go play some other game. I'm gonna go play Stardew Valley and like be happy.
Stardew Valley, Heat's ultimate oasis.
That's what I've been doing. That's literally like since the 1.6 update. That's all I've been doing.
Have you been enjoying that?
Oh my god,
update then?
So good. So much new stuff to the game. And I never even have gotten like to the end game of Stardew Valley, even past year 3 or whatever. Like I just haven't gotten there because it's just either I like fall out with the game and I just kind of like get bored or whatever.
Yeah.
This time
he's in for the long haul.
I'm gonna get there.
And then when he beats it, we're gonna get his thoughts.
Yeah, and I'll let you know how I feel about all the stuff I've never experienced before. I love playing it on the Steam Deck too.
Honestly, I randomly was like, I wonder what the hot take on Stardew would be. And I was laughing because I just pictured he finally playing through the whole game and then like getting on here and being like, yeah, it was ass.
Yeah, it was absolute butt cheeks.
I have 600 hours in Stardew. Not a good game.
That's my Steam review.
I was gonna say
it's not good.
Back to gamers being like completely insufferable sometimes.
Yeah,
you do absolutely see that. Like, yeah, this game was like ass on Twitter, and they'll say like 120 hours long.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing to do. Look at like the Steam reviews, and people be like, this game is doo doo, and they've got like 1,200 hours in it or whatever. Steam
reviews are the Wild West right now. I feel like because there are so many.
It's so fun.
It is very entertaining, and honestly, kind of the Xbox store has gotten that way too. Because I actually saw, I can't remember the guy's name, or I'd give him some credit. A TikToker. Okay. Basically, he has a channel where he just reads reviews, and he does Steam, but he's been doing the Xbox store too. And I'm like, there's some straight gold on these skits. Like, good game, 2 stars out of 5. Like, it's all it says is good game, and you're like, what in the world?
It's all right. 5 stars.
That's immediately where my mind went. You're gonna beat Stardew and be like, it was good.
It was mid.
It was alright.
Well, I kind of like Stardew's just like my comfort game.
Yeah.
And I feel like that resonates with a lot of people. That's not a hot take.
No.
I actually met Concerned Ape at PAX one year. That. Lovely man. He was great. He looked very tired.
Oh, I'm sure.
This was before Stardew was like really, really, really big.
Popping off.
So it was like starting to pop off, and he had a booth at PAX. And he was just one dude at a booth.
So was he a one-man team making the game?
Yeah.
That is very impressive.
Yeah. And that's why, I mean, the game just, with the 1.6 update, was also the 8-year anniversary of the game.
It's pretty cool.
It is cool. I just have this little connection with this game, and I know a lot of people else. I know a lot of people do too.
Oh yeah, it's a beloved game for sure.
But I think at least wrapping it around the content that I make, the Steam Deck's a really good way to enjoy the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because consoles don't have the update yet. So
Yeah, because it's PC only, right?
Yep,
right
and
now?
since it's one person, he's got to take a month to work on.
And I'm sure there's extra steps, and maybe there is even for Steam too, and he just tackles that first. But there's extra steps to get like things very right for the store and stuff.
Right.
So I mean, he probably does have to take it like console by console. Like, all right, let's do the Sony
And if he's
version.
just one guy, I mean, he used to have a publisher.
Yeah.
And then they
A falling out or
got
something.
rid of that whole situation, and then now he's just like his own guy.
I love that.
I don't know if he has a team. I don't want to speak for him, but like I don't know if he has more than just him. But I know he's the guy that made the game.
Yeah.
Like,
which is a pretty crazy story to think about. You can do anything you want.
just do it.
If you're making a video game, look at Stardew Valley. If you're one man, if you're 18 men, you can do this.
I mean, it was literally him being like, and it was literally him being like, I love Harvest Moon. I want a proper Harvest Moon game on PC, or a modern version of, or a modern take on that.
What's impressive to me is like Stardew has good writing and stuff too. So it's not like
it's fine.
So it's not like he just like made like a. I'm not even trying to hate on shooters, but like it's not like he just made like a mindless shooter that's just like happens to be fun. You know what I mean? Like he did the writing, he did the character development, he did all the like actual game developing, building the systems. That's pretty impressive. And
It's just such a good game.
And that's why people love it though.
Yeah, and
That's
it's
why
still
indies rule.
and it's still relevant.
Now here's my question though. I just said that's why indies rule. When are we gonna get the unheard Stardew Valley version?
The $250 version of Stardew Valley.
If you want this farm, you need to pay $250.
That's what's cool about Concerned Ape and Stardew Valley, though.
Yeah.
Is that all of these updates that have come out since the release of the game 8 years ago.
Yeah.
1.6 just came out for free.
Yeah,
all of it
for
is free. And you normally, what is it, $15 for this game?
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean,
Dude made a ton of money.
Yeah.
And continues to make money.
And not be
like
greedy.
even with 1.6 coming out, I'm sure a lot of people picked up the game.
Yeah.
You picked up the game?
Yeah, I did.
You bought it on Steam? I saw it.
Yep. That's on my new Steam.
I saw it because that's all I've been doing is playing Stardew Valley.
Yeah. That's and that's a big reason why I bought it.
Yeah, it's such a good game.
Like, everybody I talk to that's ever played Stardew has great things to say about it. So.
And if they don't have anything good to say about it, you don't want to be their friend and go away.
I'm gonna send you to Heath's office.
Yeah, send them to me. I'll straighten them up.
So that's what's crazy though, is just like you see, I don't know. Like you can see I never like to blame devs when there is an issue like the Tarkov thing going on, right? Because typically there is like a board.
Well, because you got a whole team.
Yeah,
and like
it's
not everybody's fault. It's
Right.
like you guys gotta. It's like everything. You gotta point. Todd Howard, how dare you? You know, like you gotta find the person to point the finger at.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there is that for Battle State Games. I think his name is Nikolai or something.
Yeah,
I honestly can't remember.
Nikolai.
Whatever your name is.
What are you doing, brother?
What are you doing, brother?
What are you doing, brother?
Stop.
So the next kind of bit, this is a hard right turn, but the next kind of bit, I feel like we'll both have some pretty good opinions about this.
Sure.
The next kind of subject that I wanted to talk to, it hasn't been a huge week in like gaming news, but the one thing that really stuck out to me was Xbox and Meta are gonna make a VR headset,
I think that's cool.
and there isn't like a release date or anything like that. This is very early stages because they announced 3 different. They're just called MetaQuests right now.
Yeah, the MetaQuest.
Yeah, so they announced 3 new versions of the MetaQuest. One's like built for like an office setting or whatever, right? Specifically for. Then there's an Xbox One, and then I can't remember what the third version is. But the Xbox One, it's very weird the terminology they use with it. They kind of say an Xbox themed Oculus headset, or not Oculus, but Meta headset.
I think what they're doing, and so I didn't know about that they were making like different versions of the headsets.
Yeah.
But from what I read online is that they're talking about, well, they're opening up the Meta ecosystem. Mm-hmm. So the operating system that runs the Quest 2, the Quest 3, the Quest Pro, all that stuff, they're actually opening that. I don't remember what they're calling it though.
The Horizon OS.
Horizon
I was just
OS.
reading it. Yep.
Whatever. They're opening that up so like people like Lenovo can use it, people like Asus if they want to make a headset, like
Asus was the other one.
Was
it? They're making this one wasn't the Xbox one.
I just made that up. I didn't even know.
That like a light bulb moment in my head. The third headset was supposed to be like for like more of like a pro gaming feel, and it was with Asus.
Huh.
So that is the other. I'll send you the article when we're done recording. That is the third one though. So
okay.
But you saying this makes some sense to me because I missed the part where they're like opening it.
They're
up
opening
more.
it up, and that's the part that I found interesting to me because because Meta has built this ecosystem. Because I have a Quest 2.
Yeah.
They've built this ecosystem. They've built, and I enjoy the OS. You know, like it's fine. I wish I had a Quest 3 because I feel like it would be a little smoother on that. Because old hardware.
Yeah.
Old. You know, it's just kind of getting a little long in the tooth at this point. But I think it's very cool the way that they're doing that, and then that makes it so that like future like pieces of hardware are all going to run on this similar OS, and you're not going to have to like rebuy your games or whatever.
Yeah.
Or, like, I don't know. I think it's a good move.
You know what it reminds me of is it immediately makes me, just like you describing it right there, it makes me think about how we were talking about last episode of the pros of the Steam Deck using Linux.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you don't have to do all the like crazy behind the scenes stuff with Windows.
Well, it's literally like how like all of Android phones are running Android. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I know Horizon OS, I'm assuming, is just a fork of Android, but it's literally like that's how like it's people. Everybody has it in their pocket these days now.
Yeah.
And it was because of somebody was like, I'm going to make this operating system, and then everybody's going to use it.
Right.
It got widely adopted. So I think, and there have been things with the Steam Deck where like there have been other, or Steam OS, I guess. There have been other pieces of hardware that have kind of adopted Steam OS or like taken Hollow ISO, which is like it's a fork. But like, and they're putting it on their handhelds.
Yeah.
Right. It's not an official version of SteamOS. That isn't out yet. I will make a video when that happens.
Let's go.
I'm excited to when that actually. But I thought that was going to happen like a year ago.
Right.
So like, and they've been talking about wanting to kind of do that for a long time. But there still have been pieces of hardware that have come out with forks of SteamOS when they work.
Yeah.
They work just fine. And I made a video about a console that basically uses something very similar to like how people would do that. But anyway, it's cool. It's a good idea. And I tell you, I spent a little time yesterday because we were just hanging out. We were just chilling. Me and my fiance, we were just chilling. And she's got her ROG Ally, and I've got my Steam Deck, and I'm playing Stardew Valley, and she's doing updates.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
With the freaking RG Ally. She's
Connecting it online.
Yeah,
and
she's
then
just getting all that stuff set up and doing all the updates. And she's like, let's see if this even works. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, well, the last time I tried to play games on it, it just wouldn't launch the games. And I was like, that's weird. That's weird to me. It's a gaming handheld. It should play games. And she was like, nope, I'm not stupid. It's literally wasn't playing the games. And I was like, okay, let's try it out. And she goes to start up and there's like a black screen. And I was like, huh, weird. That's weird. That's why Windows sucks on handhelds.
Yes. Yes. And like, again, so many people popped off in the comments. Everybody has their preference. So it's like, well, what's funny about all this is it's like subjective. You know what I mean?
It is.
It's like, there's no like right or wrong. But like so many people were like, oh, Windows is better. You know what I mean? Like, and I think it makes sense when you just don't really have it yet.
Right.
Until you start like using it rather than in theory kind of thought processes with it.
Well, for in her case, she doesn't use it very often.
Right.
So every time she picks it up, it's like it just needs updates. Just need to update a bunch of stuff. Like the My Asus app needs an update. All of the drivers need to be updated. All of this stuff and all the games need to be updated. Like it's never just fun to use. Whereas with like the Steam Deck, you just start it up and it's like, oh, there's an update if you want to do it. And you're like, meh,
yeah,
I don't really need to. I don't really need.
Yep.
I'm always on top of it, but like you don't really need to.
Yeah.
And then like obviously like. I'm going to push the update on the game that I want to play, and then it's going to download it, and it's going to take like 2 seconds, and then I'm going to push play, and then I'm going to play a game.
Yeah.
That's not how it works on the RG Ally.
It's
and
not.
yes, it is a more powerful device. Yes, it runs Windows, and yes, it has more compatibility with all the other launchers, and you can do all that stuff, but it just sucks the fun. It's a fun-sucking device. It's supposed to be fun, and like if it were mine and I were to be like using it every day, like I even asked her, I was like, "Do you want your old Steam Deck back? Like, do you want your Steam Deck back?" And she was like, "No." I was like, "Okay, well then you're gonna have to deal with all the issues that you're having."
Yeah.
Like I can install Linux on it if you want. It's like, no, I just want it to work. And I was like, okay.
That's the trick. Is just getting the device.
I just want it to work. I get it. Because like I also just want it to work for you because like you're not going to sit there and want to deal with it.
Right. And
right.
It's just a pain. Like once you like I know 100% I would not be interested in it.
You're not interested. You don't want to goof around with a device that's like it's just not just work.
And think of it this
Just
way.
work.
Like so for those listening, I have always just been like a console guy.
Yeah.
Like I have a PC, Heath helped me build it.
Yep.
That like, I'm like, hey, like let's build it so I can play some games if I want to, but it's not like a priority. Like it's not a gaming PC. You know what I mean? It's more for like this content kind of stuff. And I just don't enjoy PC gaming that much. And I've said it to you 100 times. I love just being able to buy a game and know it will run and not have to do all this crazy stuff. You know what I mean? So it's like somebody like me to buy the ROG Ally, I feel like it would just, like you said, it would suck the fun out of everything that a sweet gaming handheld should be.
Right, and it is more powerful, and it is better. Like objectively in the performance department, it is better, but for the software experience,
it's not.
You did a good job getting a Steam Deck.
I've hit enough blue screen Windows crashes not on a $700 handheld.
It's not even crashing. It's literally just getting into the game. It's literally just having a good experience getting into a game where like you take that for granted with like, you know, like your consoles, like your PlayStation. I think PlayStation's UI like still is kind of goofy.
It is.
Xbox has come a long way, and I think it's all right. But like you just take that stuff for granted.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then as soon as you get in one of those pickles, you're like, yep. Like, this is why I console game.
This is why I play games on console. and that's another reason why I love the Steam Deck, because the Steam Deck just kind of just does it right. And I'm sure the anti-cheats and shit don't work for some of the games, and the ones that do, and the ones that have figured it out, like Dead by Daylight, this is months ago they figured this out, but they fixed it. They just worked with it, and they just got it to work. It's like, why doesn't Bungie jump on board? Why can't we I'm not playing fucking Tarkov on my Steam Deck. I'm talking about like the Bungies and like the Activisions. Like they literally like aren't supporting the device. They could.
Which is crazy to me.
They could,
because like think like Apex Legends does. So
they do.
And I'm sure
that's what I mean. Like you can do it. You can do it.
You absolutely can do it.
You can do it. Just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Damn people. So you think that the Meta had that new software will be pretty good on the headset?
I think so.
I think it'd be really cool. It's a good step in the right direction.
I think it's a step in the right direction because I think they're doing something positive, and they're offering it up to other manufacturers to make their own headsets, because like I said with the Steam Deck and stuff, like you just kind of like you put your software and stuff, or your not software, your operating system on a piece of tech or whatever that you make, and it's they've spent enough time with it to streamline it, and it's good. I like it, and I like the chat functions. It's good. Yeah. And I think that it'll be even better over time. You're kind of doing like an iPhone thing though too, because you're opening it up to people outside of your own little ecosystem and like the hardware that you have in your stuff. So there's going to be a little bit of development stuff in terms of like making sure that the hardware works with the software kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I think it's a positive.
But like
overall.
we were saying earlier, and like the opposite of Tarkov, it's just making it more accessible, right?
Yeah.
Like it's making it like easier for people like me to hop in.
Right.
But what's really weird about, and I don't know if like the same, because we read different articles, if it seemed weird to you, it seemed very weird to me, is it's not, let me be 100% clear on this, is it's not like a VR headset built for your Xbox Series X or Series S, right? Like it's not like the PSVR where it's like you only run this headset through an Xbox console. And their terminology on it is very weird, so I'm excited to learn more about this headset. But it's like an Xbox inspired headset is like the term they keep using, inspired. So I'm sure I'll have like Xbox branding and like kind of look maybe different than the rest of them or something. But I saw like in the preview they had, like it was a guy basically using it to like, and I forget what the term, if there even is a term for this, but you put on the headset and you can basically see a huge version of the game you're playing, right?
You can do that now.
Yeah, so that's what I don't get.
Why? Yeah, I don't get why they're doing it now.
Yeah, like, and sorry, we had a Parker break. Baby letting us know what he thinks about the Meta headset.
He loves it.
So back to what we were saying, putting on a VR headset, seeing the game you're playing, right, like on your wall or wherever in a huge format, that's already doable. So my question is, does this Xbox-inspired Meta headset do anything new or like anything exclusive, like to the Xbox consoles? Because I get confused of like if it's not an official Xbox product, which is like or I should watch how I word that. It's not like an officially like compatible device only with your Series X. What is like the point
What's
of it?
the point
I
of
guess?
it?
Yeah.
I think it's just more of Xbox being like, we do not care where you play our games. Please play our games.
Xbox said
Play
anybody.
them anywhere. Play them in VR on a big screen. Please play them.
So do you think it's almost like PR on Xboxes and then like, hey,
Sure.
let's like partner and make like an Xbox looking
They're making an
VR
officially
headset.
licensed headset
Yeah.
that's like going to be black and it's going to have green accents on it.
Yeah.
You're going to like Razorfy a Meta, which is like those headsets are always white, you know,
Yep,
like
very plain.
And it's just like they're just doing more of, I don't know. I think it's just them being like, well, just play our games.
Yeah,
Just
and I agree with
please.
that. And I think it's a win-win for both because I think Meta headsets, I feel like are kind of niche. They're not super niche, but they're like kind of niche. You
You'd
know
be
what I mean?
surprised. There's a lot of people randos that I've talked to that are just like, yeah, I have a Meta headset.
Yeah. So yeah, and I feel like it's kind of trying to connect the gap between like gamers that
Right.
because I feel like more regular people or like regular people, more random people that are
normies.
yeah, more normies have meta headsets than gamers would. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like I think it's trying to bridge that gap, and then Xbox was like, hey, this is an opportunity to win-win. You get more gamers, Xbox gamers, right, that would be interested in the meta headset,
Right.
and we get to spread our message, like Heath's saying, of like you can play our games anywhere.
You can
Like,
play our games there. I wonder if they will eventually, like, sort of like integrate the Meta stuff with the Xbox stuff
Yeah.
in some way. I want because they're not going to do the PlayStation thing.
No.
Because that's just goofy.
PlayStation's kind of the Apple of gaming. They are very particular about what they allow in. What you know what I mean? It
Yeah, but
feels like
nobody's
they're very
buying.
much-
Nobody's buying.
No, and look at and actually, yeah. I completely even forgot about that avenue. Let's talk about, and nobody's gonna buy it on PlayStation. PlayStation kind of ran this experiment in their own. That's why I don't really think it's an experiment. Xbox is just PR because they ran the experiment within their own house with the PSVR, PSVR 2. And I actually knew quite a bit of people that owned the PSVR.
Yeah.
That had like the weird, and the PSVR was not a very like what's the word I want to look for here, like efficient or streamlined device.
Right.
Like you had the headset, it was wired into this big box that was then wired into your PlayStation. At first, I don't know if it changed because I feel like when I worked at GameStop, nobody ever bought these, so I feel like it had to have. But for a while, they had like the Move controllers that went with it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about? They had like the rubber pieces at the end.
Oh yeah.
So they had that. It wasn't a very streamlined experience, but a lot of people bought it. Like I knew a lot of people with PSVRs. We would sell them all the time. PSVR 2s. Nobody is buying PSVR 2s.
More expensive though, right?
Yes, they are more expensive, and I can't remember the price point. I know the 2 is around $500.
It's like $550 or something. I don't
Yeah,
know.
let's say between $500 to $600 the PSVR 2.
Yeah.
I think the VR 1 was $300 to $400.
Yeah, it's
when
more
it came
accessible.
out. Yeah, it was more accessible. And I think there's a pretty good support for the PSVR when it came out. Like they had some good games. I know one of the really popular, beloved ones in the community was Concrete Genie. I don't know if you ever heard of that one.
Oh, I've never heard of that.
That was a very popular one, and I'm pretty sure that dev shut down, which sucks.
Oh,
That's
man.
sad to hear. But there was a lot. It just felt like there's a lot of support on PSVR 2. It almost feels like there's no games. Like when I actually looked before we filmed this at the games that were compatible with PSVR 2. Most of them are old VR games that
They ported.
they ported over, and there's not a lot of new games for it. And if you look at the sales numbers,
Hope you like Horizon. Hope
I'm
you like the Horizon VR experience.
I'm even going to pull up the numbers right now.
Is there a Spider-Man?
Not in VR.
Really?
But here's the thing: you can do what we were just saying in the Meta headset with the PS2 VR.
Yeah.
You can put it on and like play your games on a big
Sure.
thing. So you could like play Spider-Man on it.
But that's not what I mean. You know what
yeah.
I mean? Like you just gotta get the Spider-Man action going
Yeah,
on
and I'm
in
looking
VR.
up-
That'd be sick.
I'm looking up the sales numbers right now to see if I'm way off base.
I'd
here.
probably throw up.
They made an Iron Man one for PlayStation.
See, that's what I
But it was
mean.
the OG PSVR.
Come
So I'm not seeing any specific sales numbers. Maybe they haven't like actually put it out there yet. But so they did say, I just read a report, it did not live up to the expectations
no.
of sales, and that doesn't surprise me. But there's like no games that actually use it, and it's crazy to me because you have to think about like
It's a nice headset.
Let's talk about the another like random Sony product that most people don't like. I'm actually pretty much a fan of it
Portal?
now. Yes, the Portal. So the Portal. Think about the Portal. How many people were upset because it's not like a dedicated?
It's not a
handheld?
Vita.
Yeah, it's not a Vita. So they put in all this money to get the PSVR 2 that nobody's buying, and they're not supporting. To be fair, there's
Sure.
not a ton of support for it. And they put all that money to develop that, and it's flopping when they could have just put all the money that they put into the Portal and the VR2 to make like a Vita, and it could even have been paired like with the PlayStation. It could have been like a Steam Deck situation.
Dude,
like,
it would have been sick. It could. I mean, if they would have just kind of made their own handheld again, it doesn't have to be like the Vita was so cool because it was so small, and like, and I get like maybe that era of gaming is over, you know,
right.
like the really small handheld kind of thing. It's kind of a niche thing now.
Yeah.
Like with the Miyoo Minis and the Anbernics and all that stuff of the world, like those things exist so that we can play our games from the past.
Right.
But like I feel like the PlayStation, I mean, they could have done what you know, maybe even what Xbox is thinking about doing, you know, like an Xbox handheld would be kind of sick.
Oh, it would be so sick. It would be. I would love an Xbox handheld because in my experience, I think it would. I'm trying to think of the way to word this, but like save my time with Xbox basically because I hardly use my Xbox and I hardly use Game Pass anymore because I just paid, and we talked about it last episode. Pay for it monthly. Don't really feel the motivation to play these games because there's so many choices. It's a great deal. I'm not dogging Xbox Game Pass. I love Game Pass, but it's like I think I've had my time with it, and I think there's not, other than like Halo, there's not a lot, which most people wouldn't agree with me on that. There's not a lot of things keeping me in the Xbox ecosystem,
right?
And even xCloud, I really enjoy xCloud. Like I said, I had the Logitech G Cloud that I play it on. They need to like up the bit rate. Like there's a lot of stuff with xCloud that
works.
Yeah, it's just not like compared to others. Like think of like Nvidia Now or whatever. It's not,
GeForce Now
or GeForce. Yeah, GeForce Now. It's not like comparable really. And even like I was saying, I think PlayStation's remote play stuff kind of sucks. But for some reason, like on the Portal, it works well enough. That's another thing that they could. It's almost like an Xbox situation.
Well enough isn't enough for some people. Though.
Exactly though. Yeah, and even the Portal, the bitrate stuff needs to get up. Right. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things I think an Xbox handheld, if done right, would be great. And the leaks of what they've already talked about is it would play games natively. It's not like a streaming device.
Right.
So what I think PlayStation should have done, though, is took the Portal, made it like a Steam Deck. Like if I bought the game on my PS5, I can still download it if it's like a verified, a Vita verified game. I could download that and play that.
That's what they did with the Vita too.
Yeah, exactly.
There were versions of the games that you could play on either or.
Yes, and it's
so there was remote play on the Vita. Not that it was very good at the time, but it existed.
It was the Portal before the Portal.
Yeah,
but then they basically made it a step backwards. And I like streaming games. I enjoy my Portal because again, with my son and being in other rooms, I could pick up the game. I still get the cool haptic feedback and stuff. And some people don't care about any of that, but I feel like it's a good experience.
Yeah.
$200, I feel like is a bit much. For just a stream-only device.
It is.
But again, we're living in a world where Sony's controllers are $75. So it's like,
is it really that expensive?
Yeah. I think for like $150 would have been my like, I feel like it would have been a good price range. Even like $130, because it's almost the price of 2 controllers at that point.
Right.
But, which is crazy to think about. But the whole thing of why I looped it in here is the PlayStation Portal sells very well. Like,
wow, really?
Yes, it sells very well. It reminds me, and maybe it's a controlled thing. Maybe they purposely are setting it up like this. So what I mean by that is it's almost like the PS5 when it came out due to the pandemic. Like I had to follow, to buy mine, I had to follow trackers.
Oh, yeah. I remember doing that.
Yeah, exactly. And when they would restock it, like Best Buy or Target or whoever, you would have now, I mean, I had a good like half an hour to buy it. But the first 2 months, there's one point where I was kind of like, I'm going to get it for like a video or something. And like it was like, you had 2 minutes in the checkout, and if you didn't get it done, it was gone. And it just,
I think that's scalpers too.
I know, and it comes in and out of stock, and maybe it is just scalpers, but that shows you though they see value in the Portal, the PSVR too. There is no scalpers buying that shit,
Yeah.
So it's very weird to me. It's not like Sony throws out random products all the time that sell decent. The Portal is a prime example of that. Most people are not a fan of the Portal, and I think rightfully so in most cases. But it sells well. Like when they put it out, and maybe they're just putting a small amount of stock out there.
Yeah.
But they're putting it out there and it sells. There's a small amount of stock for the PSVR 2 that has sat and sat and sat and sat. It's funny if you go to Walmart where we live. I'm not obviously drop that. I was laughing the other day because I was checking to see if they even had any in the section when I was getting groceries.
Yeah.
I go in the section, I look, I see there's literally like dust caked on the box. I'm like, nobody is buying that shit. It's still sitting there like with a layer of dust. So it just is interesting to me. And I think where I wanted to go with all this is I think VR and gaming is kind of not dead.
No.
But like in the console space, if I were a console company, I don't think I would dabble with VR anymore.
VR's okay.
I would leave it to like, the average Joes that like their Oculuses or their, the Meta headsets.
I know one person that really enjoys VR, and so much so that they DM'd me yesterday and showed me that they got a 4090.
I love that.
And their whole reasoning was that they wanted more frames in VR. And I was like, that's a crazy reason to get a 4090, but you got it at a good price, so good job. Like,
that is an insane
That's awesome,
motivation.
man. But you just brought it up to me that I feel like I have PTSD from the pandemic.
Yeah.
Because no matter what I do, whenever I go to a store, I always see if there's a PS5 in stock.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if I'm there to like grab some butter and some milk. I'm literally gonna go back there and look and see if there's any in the box.
Got to go to the gaming section.
And I buy everything online now. And it's so weird. Like,
and they're in stock now. That's what's crazy.
Are they?
Yeah, like especially the new models. I was gonna buy one of the new models. Thankfully, through like
the Slim.
Yeah, and I can't remember so I thought it'd be really cool to buy a Slim and pass my PlayStation on to one of my friends that has always wanted to get a PlayStation, but just never has. And they're kind of like an average game or like a casual gamer.
Sure.
So I was like, how cool would it be, and a good excuse for me, right,
to get
a new system. It's more streamlined. It's smaller. I can make videos about it, and pass that on. But then I saw there was a leak, and there's always leaks about this.
Always.
But there's a PS5 Pro that seems very legitimate from the leaks. It's the same person who leaked the Portal. So I'm like, I'm gonna wait because they said like end of 2024, early 2025. I'm gonna wait and see before I go buy a Slim because it's kind of a pointless buy. Like I have a launched PlayStation 5 that works fine.
Yeah.
But I'm like, that would be my luck to go spend $500 on a Slim, and then 6 months later a Pro comes out. But my whole thing with that was I always go look because I'm always tempted to get the Slim, and I always go look while I'm in the stores, and there's always like a Slim there. I swear, there's always a Slim there.
That's cool.
And they still sell fast because like you can see them, like change or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's I don't know. It is absolutely weird to think we're in a time now that you could just go.
You just like go buy them.
Yeah, go buy a system
if you want to.
Which is weird that we ever gotten to a point that you couldn't do that.
Wild.
Yeah.
Well, supply shortage.
Yeah.
The chip shortage stuff really messed with that stuff.
It was very weird during the pandemic.
Yeah.
To see people like how desperate they were to get these next gen consoles like the Xbox Series X and PS5.
Yeah.
That was when I was still working at GameStop. So you would see people come in and just be desperate, and we would never get them. Like they would only sell them online when they got them. There's like 2 or 3 times we got them in store, and there's like events for them. And one guy that got the PS5, it was like right after launch. I think it was at Christmas time. They brought him back in store, and of course, GameStop being the dumb company they are, they like announce it and none of the employees know. None of us know. Oh yeah, tomorrow or in 2 days, your store will have X amount of Xbox Series X's and PS5s. And there was a guy. He was a cool guy too, very nice guy. He sat outside of our GameStop for 27 hours.
Bless his
more
heart.
than a day to buy a PS5. And what's crazy?
Did he get one?
He did get one, yeah. And he stayed out there, and his friends would bring him stuff. He had a sleeping bag. His friends would bring him food and stuff. I went out and chatted with him because I worked the night before and opened the morning up when we were selling them. And he was a very nice guy, but I was just like, now, like looking back now,
wild.
I'm laughing because I'm like, there was really nothing that crazy about the
No.
PS5 to make me wait
No.
27 hours. And I get it, like you're excited, like he's probably a huge fan, but it's like, that is wild.
People did the same thing for graphics cards outside of Micro Centers.
Yeah, you're right.
They would literally like camp outside.
Yeah, and that was like the 30 series, right? Would that have been 30 series?
Yeah.
It is crazy to think we got 30 series cards, and then it feels like, I know it was some time, but it feels like in the blink of an eye, we got the 40 series
We're
cards.
already on 40 like supers, which is like the next iteration of the 40s, and then we're going to get 50.
So how do you feel, this is kind of an unscripted segment here, but what do you think about like the 40, like buying a 40 series card right now? Is it overkill for most of the games on the market? Is it like, would you call it like a luxury thing? Do you think it's kind of future proofing if you get it now? What do you think?
My take on it is, well, for context, I have a 4070 in my PC. I had to replace my 3080 because I sold somebody a computer, and that GPU in that computer just totally crapped out and died. And it sucked because it was like the nicest computer I've ever like built to sell somebody. And I should have taken the signs. I bought the computer for somebody out of a van. And it was just it was a bad. I should have just like stuck with my gut. But anyway, I got a 4070 out of it. And I think now, like with the 4070 Super, I think like originally, like, yeah, they're expensive. They're expensive for 70 series cards. And even, going up, and like the 4080s are like what, $1,000 or whatever they are.
Right.
It's still so expensive. And the 80 series cards didn't used to be, they used to be like $600. Like a 1080 was like a $600 card or a $700 card. I don't know. They're good. I really like my 4070 because it's efficient.
Yeah.
And it's got DLSS and it's got all the things, like all the little fancy features the stuff that I want. Is it a good value at the price that it's at in this economy? Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess it's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, but there are other cards that you could get. You could get a 4060 if you want.
Right.
I don't know. I was just having this with the same friend that got the 4090 the other day.
Mm-hmm.
I was just having the same conversation where he's like, what do you have in your rig? And I was like, I just have a 4070. And it's weird to say just 4070 because I paid like $550 for it or whatever at the time. And like that's not cheap.
No,
that's not cheap for just like one component. Right. And like I've always been under the like get as much power as you can like afford to get at the time, and that's what I could afford. At the time, and it was like that was pushing it. Yeah. And do I regret it? No.
I love that it is like a sense of like you do future proof a little bit. You know what I mean? Like it's like you're investing in like it's like how like yes, it's a big purchase up front, but you're looking at like all right. Do I want to upgrade in 3 years or you know what I mean? Like
that's the thing with me though is that like for a long time I was upgrading because computer components were not so expensive.
Yeah, different.
I could afford to upgrade like like every year or whatever. It's kind of like smartphones too.
Yeah, exactly.
The smartphones got super expensive.
Yeah,
and you can't. I switched to iPhone and I don't think about it.
And yeah, people don't realize how expensive phones are because they like break them into the monthly payment. But phones are fucking expensive.
They are so expensive.
They are expensive. They can do all this fancy stuff because they cost a fuck ton of money.
Which is why I kind of wanted to touch on the Delta emulator thing.
Yes, that's what I was just about to fire away.
Because
so let's see. What do you think about the iOS emulator?
Dude, it is so. I like having a physical controller, just right off the bat, having a physical, D-pad buttons, whatever. Like that's going to be a superior experience. Mm-hmm. But for the sake of, just say like you don't have a lot of money, but you've got a phone. Yeah, you've got an iPhone or something that your parents gave you or something like. It's in your pocket. Yeah,
the accessibility piece again.
The accessibility piece is like is something to definitely consider for the Delta emulator. Yeah. It's great. I had never thought about it. Like I got the Mini Plus, and I was trying because you can do a little bit of DS emulation on there, and I was like, this is interesting, but like I kind of hate it because it's because you got to have two screens.
You do, yeah.
And it breaks up this small screen into even smaller screens, and I was like, I kind of just don't want to do this.
Yeah, kind of a mess.
And then I was like, wait a minute, Delta, you can emulate DS. And so like I loaded up one of the ROMs that I had from my Mini Plus onto my iPhone, and I was like, this is kind of sick. Yeah. Like I don't have a physical controller, so that's kind of like whatever, but like I'm playing a casual game. Like I tried playing Tetris and I was like, this is ass. I can't. Like so many misinputs. Yeah. But for a game where maybe input isn't like the most precise super input huge. Isn't super huge. Yeah. Like playing Pokemon or whatever, like it's kind of sick because it's a touchscreen.
So let me ask you this: so if say I had it on my iPhone, right? Yeah. Could I just like say if I had like an 8-bit DOE controller or something?
Yeah, absolutely.
You could Bluetooth it to your iPhone do that. And just get like a little stand or something.
Yeah, if you really wanted to do that, you could do that.
Ooh, or they even sell the 8-bit DOE sells the controller clips too.
You could do that too. Your phone on. And also, I mean, if you've got the right. I mean, I think iPhones can do this. Can't you just like plug your phone into the TV and like it'll just show up on the TV?
You have to get an adapter, but yeah, you absolutely can.
I mean, if you've got one of the new iPhones that has USB-C,
yeah, you don't even need an adapter. You could just boom.
You could do that.
Well, the official like iPhone one, because those ones are always ridiculous.
They're always expensive.
Ones. Yeah, you could just get like a third-party adapter.
But I think just just for the sake, and we talked a little bit about it before, but like just being a little discreet, you know,
Yeah.
like you're at work or something and you're on your lunch break, or like you're kind of in between tasks and you're like, I could probably just grind out some Pokemon real quick.
Yeah.
I think it does. I think it does a really good job.
See, I really want to check it out. Fridays at the office when they get a little slow.
Yeah.
Get some Soul Silver going on the
I'll be there.
on the iPhone.
I'll help you figure it out. It's actually really easy to set up. Like putting all of the, because like for DS you need some like ROM, or you need some BIOS files,
Right.
which is really easy to get. Just Google it. Like it's not
Yeah.
hard to find. Just put those files in. Like all of that stuff, you just put it on your iCloud, make a folder, be like ROMs, boom, and it'll just like
And it's
which
that
ROMs.
simple.
Yeah.
So, is there a price component to the iPhone?
Nope.
Emulate. Okay.
Nope. It's free.
So that is huge for the accessibility.
That's what I'm saying in terms of like, you know, you could spend $60 on, you know, a Mini Plus, whatever type of device, which there is some merit to that because
Oh, yeah,
like
absolutely.
I want to, you know, like I want some more precise inputs,
Yeah.
but
And it's a
if-
physical thing. Like,
yeah, well, I mean, and you could get a Bluetooth or like a USB-C controller type thing for your
Right.
iPhone if you really wanted to slap on the
like
side
one of
of
those
it.
backbones or
Yeah, like a
whatever.
backbone
Yeah.
or whatever. I know the GameSir makes a really good one too. You could do that too. But the thing with that is a lot of those backbone controllers and the GameSirs and all that stuff, that's as much as a Mini Plus.
Yeah, you might as well just get
So you kind of just have to figure it out.
like what you're looking for. But at
What
least
works.
the iOS setup is a good way to figure that out. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? You could run
You
an
can
emulator.
start for free.
Yes, and see, would this work for me? Do I have like a controller I can already Bluetooth to it? Like,
Right. Do I care?
Yeah, do I care? Yeah, am
Do I
I fine
care
with
enough?
the touchscreens?
Yeah.
The touchscreen aspect for me would probably, in talking about long term, it'd probably be a deal breaker. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I would, like, just like you, I'd want the input, so I'd probably buy a
Right.
physical device.
But that's why I think that it's cool for DS stuff because like you need a
screens.
touchscreen for DS and like you can literally your phone, the thing that's in your pocket is one of the nicest touchscreens you will ever have.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so for that to be like, you know, like you played DS.
yeah, oh, yep.
Like the mushy, it's kind of
Yeah.
it was fine.
But it ages badly.
It did the thing that you needed it to do when you were a
Yeah.
kid, but like having this slab of metal and glass in your pocket that's like super pristine and nice, and just being able to like, boop, I'm playing DS.
Yep.
You know, like it's kind of
pretty
cool.
sweet, yeah.
It's kind of cool. So I loaded up Soul Silver and I was like, this is pretty cool.
Yeah. So overall, especially because you're just not the average person that has emulated games before. Like, you have the Mew Mini,
Yep.
you have these other devices.
I played a lot of emulated games on my Steam Deck too. So
Overall, you think the iOS emulation setup is pretty decent.
I'm glad that they did it.
That is okay. That's good to know.
Pretty poggers.
It just makes it more accessible, especially for somebody like me. Again, almost like the PC gaming avenue.
well, you're
I think it'd be
kind
a
of
good place
like
to start.
yeah, you're kind of on the fence about it too.
Yeah.
And so for you to be able to like take a device, like you could do it on your Steam Deck, but that's a lot of setup.
Right.
You could, but for your phone, I feel like the barrier to entry. I mean, you've been able to do this on Android phones forever, but
Yeah.
like to the barrier to entry to actually like get you to play, you know, some of those games that you enjoyed as a kid or like whatever, like it's right in your
Boom.
pocket.
And it's free.
It's in your pocket.
Well,
It's
if you have
free.
a phone, it's free.
Right. If you've got a phone, I mean, you could just steal somebody's phone.
Yeah. 100%. Or if you have like an iPad or something laying around at home.
I think so. The Delta emulator, I think
Is it only phones?
it's technically only for phones. I mean, obviously you can use it on an iPad, but it's going to look like an
Kinda wonky.
iPhone
Yeah.
stretch kind of thing. I would hope that they would like eventually change that and
Yeah.
like do a little bit more because now that it's like on the official app
The
store, you've always been able to sideload it. Delta's
Right.
been around for a long time.
But it's just the official part.
It's the
of it or
official
whatever,
one.
Yeah.
So it'd be just imagine playing like DS, like you
Yeah.
strap a controller to your iPad, and it's like I'm playing DS, mom,
On the big screen.
on the big screen. But I think it's really cool. I think it's
I
a really
love
cool
that.
thing for. I think if you aren't into emulation right now and you like want to try and play some like Nintendo games,
It's a good spot to go.
yeah, it's good.
I
It's a good
absolutely
time.
love it.
Yeah, yeah.
I might honestly have to check it out.
I mean, we work together, so
Yeah,
like,
so we'll load it up.
I'll show you. I'll show you
Well,
at work.
next episode, I'm going to give you my thoughts.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you my hot takes on
Hot
this.
takes.
I'm going to say hot take. This shit is
Do we have a
sweet.
lot of hot takes this episode?
We didn't have a lot of hot takes.
That's all
Mostly,
right.
mostly it was talking about other people's hot takes, like
That's
the
all
RG
right.
Ally stuff.
Yeah, that's my hot take.
The
It's kind of butt.
the do boobies belong in video games. do.
Do they belong in video games?
They need to
gotta
be a
get the
little bit-
thumbnail. Oh, the thumb.
I love that. If you are a video podcast listener, not just audio, you need to watch that part. You need to rewind it if you missed it. Just
It's gonna be the thumb.
boobies. Gonna be a clip of them.
Oh my god!
They censored it. I can only see like 6 pixels now instead of 12. That's pretty crazy.
Anyway,
Not a super hot take episode. Not a lot of hot takes. So give us yours in the comments below. Chirp all you want. Again, if you want to roast me, I know you're going to do it anyways. So
don't be mean.
Don't be mean.
Just have a civil conversation. I'm looking at you.
You're wrong. All your games suck.
I'm looking at you.
There's always that somebody.
New Vegas fans.
Yes.
Chill out.
There's always that somebody.
Calm down.
And the dogs are telling us it is time. So thank you
time.
for listening to episode 2. Go check out Funky HQ on YouTube. Download the pod. Review the pod. That's the new thing, too. Review the pod if you're a Spotify
Review the
or
pod.
Apple
Give us
Podcast
5 stars. Thumbs up.
5 freaking stars. We appreciate you. Have a good night.
Yeah.